Alright, we're going to be talking about the crucial study skills that are needed to go ahead and be a successful student. I'm going to go ahead and focus on one that was particularly important to me, one that I've been struggling with for years of going to school and trying to go ahead and make something of it, would be time management. Extremely crucial, especially not only just with school, but also with life and kids and everything else. So what I'm going to go ahead and dip into here is going to be about time management. We need to go ahead and have to go ahead and practice that in order to be a successful student. I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the time management and how to go ahead and some of the things that people really don't realize that are actually pretty important when you got to figure into your schedule. So well, the first basic things to go ahead and do to be a successful student, you got to go ahead and, first of all, if you're going to go and study, you got to get rid of anything that's distracting. It's already hard to go ahead and sit down and get into your books. I know that is. But you got to go ahead and just get rid of anything that might be going ahead and getting your attention away from those things. So, of course, this day and age, you got to turn off that phone, turn on the ringtones, and the vibrations, and put them where you can't be tempted to answer and call the messages and to pick up those messages. One of the things that you can also do too is you can just allow yourself to check your phone only once per hour. That's kind of difficult, but once you go and start doing that, you can really train yourself to go ahead and do that. Be a lot more successful in your studies. One of the biggest things also is turn off that Facebook, Messenger, YouTube, any other distractions. That technology that's out there today, it's something that's it's hard. So, well, you ask yourself, why stay focused? Well, one of the big reasons why they did some studies that show that what's called is when you really start going ahead and getting into your studies, you get called what's called a flow. When you're kind of mentally really immersed and involved into your activity of whatever you're doing. When you go ahead and get into that, what they call the flow, that's when you feel like hours have flown by and minutes. You ever had that feeling before? Well, it makes you feel energized, more motivated, gets that activity that you're doing, and you get like super productive. So biggest thing to go ahead and stay focused on one thing without getting all distracted is try and go ahead and get into that flow. So, well, another thing you can go ahead and do that was really helpful to me, I have a couple calendars. I use a calendar. I can go ahead and plan my day. I schedule my appointments and my obligations. Study blocks. I put study blocks in. A lot of times you can go ahead and put your study blocks, or if you have to go to study with other people, things like that. I use my calendar on my phone. Helps very, very well. And I was told that by one of my supervisors, one of my positions that I held, that was very, very committed to keeping your appointments with people. And you just got to make sure, the biggest thing about that is you got to make sure you fill it in. Fill it in, and make sure that if you're going to devote to using something like that, don't do it halfway, because you'll be missing dates and things like that, and it'll be a big mess. So, well, also another thing to go ahead and do when you're going ahead and trying to develop your study skills is to go ahead and make a checklist. Checklists are awesome. They help you stay on task. They give you a sense of accomplishment, which is very, very cool. Every time you do the littlest things, or you can go ahead and look at it, you can go ahead and see, okay, I've already done that. It does feel kind of good. So, and another thing also is to be organized. Be organized. It saves time. You manage time better. You can use document filing, notebooks, things like that. Just to get a little bit more organized. Always helps. Always helps. So the biggest things that I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about is some of the things that people really don't realize that help you succeed when you go ahead and get into trying to go ahead and do these classes, or do pretty much anything, even in work or anything. Biggest thing that people, especially in the business aspect of it, see, I was in sales. So one of the things that I really didn't understand, because I was always pretty much go, business, was that you need to go ahead and schedule rewards for yourself. And didn't really understand that. I always thought people that would go out and party and go out to eat afterward, or go to lunch, and if they get a big win or something, they go out and they go and blow their money. And I really didn't understand that. And I just was wondering why those same people were always like the successful people. So, and I was a few years I was in the sales, and I started going ahead and realizing why that was. And one of the reasons why it's very psychological. You got to take, first of all, you got to take a few minutes out of every hour to get off the subject and do something that mentally you enjoy. Okay, if you're going ahead, but it's almost used as like a reward. You make an accomplishment on your checklist or whatever. You go ahead and make sure you stop what you're doing. Maybe go for a walk, or maybe watch 20 minutes of your favorite show or things like that. You got to let your brain relax a little bit, and I can tell you what, you'll be a lot more successful. Really, the science behind all that, which is something I really didn't understand, was when you go ahead and act or you celebrate, changes like the physiology, and it strengthens your brain. Okay, the psychology, when you celebrate, the reason why you feel so good is because you're releasing endorphins inside your body, which makes you feel good. When you accomplish something and you don't celebrate, you're kind of like, you do all that work for nothing, and you're really not going ahead and rewarding yourself. Your body's going to go ahead and be trained to not care. So the more you celebrate when you do your wins, when you get something accomplished, when you finish the book that you were so trying desperately to go ahead and finish, the assignment, the class that we're dealing with right now, you got to make sure that you go ahead and celebrate some way, shape, or form. You're just going to be that better off in the next course, the next thing you put yourself to. And what you're doing is you're setting yourself up for more wins. So that was one thing that I really didn't really understand, but now I'm starting to go ahead and make sure that I will go ahead and take care of myself if I take care of what I need to get done. So also the biggest thing also too, that I go round and round with my second half here is getting proper sleep. You have to get proper sleep. If you don't get it, if you don't get good night's sleep, it's just a cycle that goes down, and a downward spiral. Those all nights, overnighters, to go ahead and get your paperwork and things like that done, you got to make up for it. You'll go into sleep deprivation, and that just has a whole different realm of different problems that go on. So you got to have proper sleep. And lack of sleep, it affects ability to be your best. First off, you'll stop being able to go ahead and identify like cognitive skills. By sleep, that's what sleep deprivation does. There's been research, a lot of research on that now has been showing that sleep deprivation, and it has a lot to do with ADHD kids and people, but they're starting to realize that a lot of the reasons why they're acting that way, and they're not able to go ahead and hold on to some of the information that they are reading, and they're not having the attention span and everything like that. A lot of it has to do with their sleep issues, that they have their circadian rhythms, their sleep cycles. At night, they're not going ahead and getting to finish them. So it just really affects all your brain cells. It affects your communication, your neural cells, affects everything. So they've linked it to a lot of stuff. They've linked it to which always starts going ahead and going down to your hormones, your hormone levels, serotonin levels, your dopamine, your cortisol. Everything is affected, which goes down to your mood, which goes down to your energy. And it always leaves, and a lot of sleep deprivation, what it'll do, it always leaves parts of your brain like constantly on. So you'll be very edgy, So, you're not able to go ahead and remember. Your memory goes down. It's just huge, huge, huge. So always really focus on one of the best study skills, or you could say it's a skill, would remember to always make sure that you are making sleep a priority. So mainly a few things like that would be basically on the things of time management. You gotta basically be able to manage all these other things that you wouldn't be thinking about that, but honestly, they're really things that are normal, but you can't do without them. So I want to go ahead and just bring that forward, and that'll be part of my, that's pretty much it, and I hope everyone does great on their class. Thanks.